Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Wednesday Talk.
Hi, guys.
Usually the Wednesday walk. If you're new here, I'm Jason.
I'm Valerie.
We are in our fifth year,
Yeah,
fifth
fifth
year
year.
of living abroad, traveling abroad. We talk about all things slow traveling. And yeah,
Yes, we
today we're
do.
going to talk about 10 hidden costs that nobody talks about.
We got a list.
Just some things for people to consider when planning their budget for moving abroad that may not come to you right away. And it's good to not get caught by them. So
Yeah.
this is just kind of an extension of our last week's video where we talked about, we did a price comparison between Cuenca, Ecuador and Pattaya here in Thailand. And we just thought this kind of goes hand in hand with that topic. And one step beyond, if you haven't seen that video, take a look.
So this can apply to not only Thailand, but there are a few things that are Thailand specific in this list. But just moving abroad in general, some of these things might.
Yeah, they could apply to anywhere.
Yeah. So the first one is visa costs. So depending on where you're going, what passport you hold, you may have to pay for a visa to visit that country or live there long term.
And I mean, that can be a monthly cost, that can be a yearly cost, depending on when you got to renew and things like that.
Right.
What options might be available to you. So it's good to research those options ahead of time and have a good general idea of what that cost is going to look like on the long term.
And if you have to extend your visa, if you want to live there longer, if you're only, like for us, for example, we're here for 90 days, but we were able to come to Thailand on a 60-day visa-free entry into the kingdom, and then we had to extend for another 30 days because we wanted to stay the 90.
Right.
So, and that costs money to do that.
Yeah. 1,900 baht each, to be exact.
Yeah.
About 80, 85 Canadian dollars, but just those are little things that can add up.
Right. Jay and I always have done our visa extensions, our visas ourselves, but here in Thailand, you can pay an agent to do that for you. Right. So that's another fee that you might not consider. You might find it easier just to pay somebody and let them worry about the headache. And yeah.
And again, that's an additional cost. Just for example, I know one person who paid to have their visa extended here, paid an agent, and it was 4,000 baht. So they basically paid a little more than double what it would cost to do it themselves. It is quick and easy. You just give them your passport and a handful of money and say, let me know when it's done. So, I mean, a lot of people do like that. It is convenient, but it comes at a cost.
It does, yeah. So, I mean, getting all your documents together, and people might just find that a bit overwhelming. We've always done it. Thailand, it seems to be, it's not too difficult.
No, it's not. It's not. It's a process. You just get the list of things you need together and take it in. But
yeah.
It's been fine. We haven't had a problem figuring it out. But
yeah.
Number two, air conditioning, and just utilities in general. I know when we were back in Canada, our air conditioning bill, we only had air conditioning part of the year because obviously with all the seasons, you didn't need it all year round. And you could average your bills with the company. So they took your electricity cost and they averaged it over a year. So you paid the same amount every month. I don't think you can do that here. I haven't seen any option to do that here. So when you're here, and I say here in Thailand, but this applies to any hot climate, you may have your air conditioning running all the time. Mm-hmm. So you want to kind of get an idea of understanding what those utilities are going to cost you on a monthly basis.
Yeah.
And know that, that is probably going to be in addition to the cost of your monthly rent.
Right. And some people, they acclimate to whatever country they're in and don't use aircon as much as you would think. We still like our air conditioning.
We use it.
So we use it a lot.
I have a friend who's been here for 10 years and I asked him, how long does it take to acclimate? And he's like, well, more than 10 years, I guess.
Yeah. So there you go. But in Cuenca, for example, they don't have heat or aircon. So, I mean, there's a savings right there.
Yeah.
Just because the temperature is so variable throughout the country, depending on where you stay, you don't need it. Yeah.
If you're cold, you go out in the sun. If you're hot, you go inside out of the sun.
Yeah, there you go.
Cuenca.
Yeah. So for our third one is if you like your imported products, this obviously goes for any country you go to, any import products, whether you're in Canada, Thailand, Ecuador, whatever, they're going to be more. So you might have to be a little bit flexible with your palate.
Now, imported products, you may think differently of them when you're at home because they're imported to your country from wherever you are. But when you're in Thailand, some of the products you're used to in North America or other countries are considered imported products. So they might be brands that you're used to buying every day.
Yeah.
you wouldn't necessarily consider them imports, but they are here. So that can definitely run your budget up if you stick to those import products. You're going to want to try and find local brands and things like that that maybe you can use as a replacement.
Yeah.
Or if you have to have your favorite brand, just know that that's probably going to cost you a little bit more. Number 4 is transportation. Now that's a matter of like, do you plan on having a car or a motorbike when you're in this other country? Do you plan on just riding local transit? Things like that. You'll want to, I guess, research what you can as far as what vehicles may cost, what insurances and things like that you may require, or what it's going to take to get a license. I know here in Thailand it was pretty easy. I just took my foreign license in and did a test, and I got both my motorcycle and my Thai car license, and it was a pretty easy process. But I know in Vietnam you have to go and write a written test, and it's in Vietnamese. There is no option. So I have been told that you can go to an agent and they can help get your license for you. I don't know. It seems kind of sketchy that somebody can go write the test for you, but that, again, there's a big cost to that too. But I know most people that are in Vietnam either are driving on a international driver's permit. Most people that are there do not have, or say most foreigners that are there probably do not have the actual Vietnamese license because it's pretty difficult to get. So that's something to check into when you're doing your research.
Right. Also, if you are going to have a motorcycle or a car, you're going to need to upkeep with maintenance, or if it breaks down, you have to fix it. So those are additional costs that you may not even think about. Some people just don't want to drive when they go to a foreign country. So you have to understand what the transportation is like there. How easy is it to use? How expensive is it to use?
Number 5 is healthcare isn't always cheap.
Yes.
We've had different experiences where some things are inexpensive, other things are quite expensive. The same goes for prescription drugs. We've been in some countries where they were pennies, dirt cheap, and then that same drug in another country is more than it was back home. So if there's things that you take regularly that you know you're going to need, it's something to consider when you're doing your planning.
Yeah.
What's it going to cost in this country? It might be more than you're used to paying at home, but if so many other things are less, then your monthly budget will be just fine. But you do want to know before you get there. You don't want to arrive and go to pick something up and find out, wow, that's going to cost me a lot of money every month.
Right.
And the same goes for your longer term healthcare. If you're, like right now we travel, we just use Safety Wing. It's more of a traveler's insurance. It's not like a more permanent healthcare insurance.
Right. It's not a Thai insurance.
Right. Right. So, I mean,
coverage.
if once we've decided somewhere we want to settle a little bit longer, we'll look into like local healthcare coverage. It'll be more inclusive of all the things you might need, hospital stays and things like that, and more health and health related than safety and tourism related, I guess, travel related.
Right.
This is really travel specific right now.
And you have to decide, do you want public? Are you okay with having public health care, or do you want private? Right. And obviously private is going to be more money, but it's more geared, I would say, towards Westerners or tourists, so English-speaking doctors, that kind of thing.
Right. A lot of the private healthcare we've seen is definitely geared more towards expats.
But some of the doctors that work in the private sector also work in public too, so it's just a matter of you got to wrap your mind around that.
That's true. We have seen that where you could end up with the same doctors depending on which hospital they may be working at that day. Right. So that's something to consider.
Number 6 is flights home. So if you want to routinely go home, maybe once or twice a year, you always have to have that backup money.
It's not necessarily the routine travel trip home that you have to be concerned with. It's the what if. What if someone passes away? What if somebody gets sick and you need to go home right away? You want to make sure you've got a bit of a nest egg set aside for an emergency trip, because generally when it's an emergency, you don't get the chance to watch flights and book at a good time. You got to get on the next available flight. So they usually cost you more, and you want to make sure you can do that.
Exactly.
Okay, so number 7, replacing electronics. Inevitably, your phone is going to fall and get broken, get lost, maybe get stolen, or just wear out. Maybe you just want to keep up with the most recent technology. That's something that at home we kind of took for granted a little, I think, because a lot of times when you had your monthly plan, you could go get a new phone at like $0 or very low money, and it just kind of rolled into your plan and it was included in your monthly cost. Now that we're retired, I find, we're jumping country to country. If we need a new phone, you're paying for the whole thing outright.
Yeah, and they're so expensive. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they're getting worse. Yeah.
Wow.
If you want to have the
They're the top of the
the biggest
line.
and best,
Yeah.
they're getting pretty crazy. But it's not just that. It's all the things like maybe your laptop quit working and something
Yeah.
has to be repaired. Maybe you want to have a tablet or you have a tablet and that needs to be replaced or repaired. All those kinds of things kind of sneak up on you, and it's just something that, again, you don't necessarily think about until you do, and then you need an extra couple grand here and there. A lot of the big name brand stuff has really international pricing. Like when you get into your iPhones and big Samsung phones and iPads and stuff like that, a lot of them have global pricing. So it's basically the same price. Some things here, if you're buying here when you're leaving the country, you can claim back the tax, the VAT they call it, at the airport, but that's within a month of purchasing it. So if you're
Right.
buying something a month before you go home or within the month, you could claim back the tax. So you'd save a little bit. But a lot of the pricing we've seen is pretty much the same
Is it
worldwide.
the same?
A lot of it's
I thought
similar,
it was
yeah.
more expensive. I thought
No,
electronics are here.
it's similar here. It's similar here. And I mean, now when we were in South America, prices were definitely higher than home.
Yes.
But here they're very similar. Now, I will say with exception, if you get a chance to fly through Seoul, pick up your products there. We flew through Seoul on the way here, and I saved hundreds replacing our drone that we lost in South America.
That was a good find.
And actually, the Samsung phones were more less expensive as well. Even in the airport shops, it was actually.
know.
So that's something
That's
to consider,
crazy.
I guess. Bonus tip: when you are traveling through different countries, look at what things cost in some of these airport shops. Compare them to your home prices.
Number 8 is if you like to have your home comforts. So if you like that squishy mattress, or if you have allergies and need an air purifier, or if you want a dehumidifier because it's very humid here, that's going to be an extra added cost that you might not think about.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen any apartments that have maybe had like an air purifier or anything in them.
No.
I mean, they might be there. Haven't seen them in our price range.
Right. And you do have to buy your water here. You can't drink the water out of the tap. So that's another thing you have to think about. When we were in Cuenca, you could drink the water out of the tap. It was very good. It's just another thing you just got to get used to, I guess, and another expense.
Luckily, it's really inexpensive.
It
here.
is.
And there are at the complex we're at, they do have water machines that give you filtered water, so you can actually refill the big jugs and stuff like that. You don't
It's
have
so
to always
easy.
go buy.
Yeah.
And they're pennies to fill, but still, it's a cost and
Bots.
something to.
They're bots
They're
to
bots
fill.
to fill. And it's just another thing to consider for your budget.
I know, it's just different.
Number 9, this one doesn't come up a lot. It's not really a huge impact, but it is something to consider. Tourist pricing.
Yeah, if you're traveling around,
If
you
you're
might
traveling
notice
around
it.
and you're going to tourist attractions and different, local sites and things like that,
Right.
sometimes you do run into some dual pricing where, it might be 100 baht for a local to come and see that attraction, and it might cost you, because you're a foreigner, it might cost you 300 or 400 baht.
Right.
It's usually not a huge thing, but it's understandable. I mean, the people
Sure.
live here, they pay taxes, they, all that kind of
Exactly.
stuff. But it's just something to keep in mind that does come up from time to time.
Yep. I think this is number 10. One of the biggest things is your social life and what you plan on doing when you retire abroad and what that looks like. So is that doing the tourist attraction things? Is it beach days? Is it sitting at a bar just having a drink or two in the afternoon? That all adds up.
Absolutely. If
Yeah.
you're gonna, you might not even be thinking of that in advance, per se. You might arrive somewhere and go to a local bar and meet some people, and they're like, "Hey, we got a golf league. Are you interested in joining our golf league?"
Exactly.
And you're like, "Yeah, I like the golf." And you find out, golf at home might have cost you $50 or $60 a round, and here it might be 100 or 120 a round. So knowing that kind of thing in advance can give you that option if that's something that you're interested in.
And with the social life, we can talk about maybe you want to travel a little bit while you're living abroad to neighboring countries or within the country you're staying in.
Right.
What do the flights look like? Are they expensive? When we were in Cuenca, it seemed like flying within South America and within Ecuador itself was expensive. So there's just
Yeah, you can get cheaper flights to neighboring countries here in Southeast Asia, a lot less than it was in South America.
yes, yeah.
But I mean, again, that changes from time to time and different times of the year around the world. Now,
Sure.
that is definitely something to consider as well. The time of year goes hand in hand with, like, do you want to retire or do you want to travel? Because they don't always mesh.
That's true, yeah,
And part
yeah.
of that is, if you're going to retire and you're going to stay in one spot, okay, that's fine. If you're traveling around, you want to look at the time that you're doing it. If you're traveling from place to place during the peak seasons for each of those places, the costs are definitely higher than if you wanted to look at,
sure.
shoulder seasons or off seasons.
Yeah.
Right now we're in the rainy season here in Thailand, and for the most part, you wouldn't even know it. It's beautiful, it's sunny, it's warm, but things are less expensive now than they are in the peak season of I think November, December, January, February. That's kind of the peak season here for tourism. So when you're traveling, you got to kind of look at those seasons, because it could save you hundreds of dollars a month on your apartments. It can save you money on flights. It can save you on everything local. When we were in Albania, in the off season, the restaurants even had cheaper prices.
Yeah, they had little sleeves in the menu on different prices just because it was off season. So
Yeah, which we were surprised by, but
Yeah.
hey, we'll take it. But
Yeah.
it's just something to consider. If you're traveling place to place in that peak season, it's going to cost you a few
Yeah.
more bucks.
a few more. Sometimes it's extremely expensive to
Yeah.
fly in the high season.
So yeah, in the peak seasons, like Albania.
Yeah. When we were in Albania, like if you were to stay in the summer months, it was almost triple the price to
Yeah.
stay for accommodations.
Literally, like they wanted 1,200 euros a month for an apartment that they were going to rent to us for like 380.
Yeah.
So
It's-
substantial.
Yes.
Substantial. So that's good to know. You definitely want to check out your real estate markets, find out what pricing looks like that, and decide what's the best time of year for you to go for your budget.
yeah, I guess that was 11. That was a bonus one.
That was a bonus one, yeah. The time of year to travel.
Yeah. So, I have another bonus one. So this is number 12. So if you're moving somewhere, you might have upfront costs that you might not think about. So they might have to put down 2, 3, 4 months rent for a deposit, and that can really eat up a budget.
Yep.
Like,
And it's
like
something,
settling costs, right? Like
some of it is that you have to come up with that money to get started. Others, it can save you money. I know Albania had some different rules. Like here, people have wanted 1 to 2 months up front plus a deposit on the apartment. So that $400 apartment might cost you $1,200 to move in, which
Right.
isn't abnormal. A lot of people want deposits and first and last.
Right.
But in Vietnam, I know they're willing to negotiate more the more you're willing to pay up front. Now, you want to be very sure about your
Yeah.
landlord and that you're living where you want. But if you're going to rent a place for a year and you paid the first 6 months up front, they'll give you a better price.
True.
So it's something to consider. If you can have some cash saved up on hand for that kind of thing, you can save a little bit of money by paying for a few more months of rent up front.
Yeah. And what Jay was talking about, you want to kind of be aware. When you're doing an exchange or looking at condos with somebody, get their identification.
Like with an agent.
With an agent, yeah. Make sure you have their contact information, maybe a picture of their ID, that kind of thing, so that you kind of know they're a reputable person. And,
Right.
there have been a lot of money scams in Thailand not long ago where people weren't getting their down payments back or their
Yeah.
deposits back.
And not even that. There's other ones where people would rent an apartment and an agent would show it to them and they would move in. And a few weeks later, somebody come walking through the door and say, "Hey, what are you doing in my apartment?" And they
Right.
find out that the owner didn't even authorize the rental of their apartment, and now you're getting kicked out and you don't get any money back.
Right.
So yeah, just a little safety thing there. Make sure that you're exchanging IDs with the person that you're really dealing with. That way you've got something concrete to go with if anything were to go wrong.
Yeah. So those are like 10 things that you kind of want to have in the back of your mind, plus 2 bonus ones in the back of your mind that you want to have if you're coming to Thailand, moving abroad. Hopefully that, will help you out if that's something that you want to do in your future retirement time.
Yeah, and if you're living abroad, traveling abroad, or have experience with it, and there's anything you want to mention that we didn't talk about in these that you found in your travels, throw it in the comments down below and add to the conversation.
Yeah. So if you like this video, hit the like button before you go, subscribe if you haven't already, and we will see you next week. Bye, guys.
Ciao.